Hi, everybody. A huge current pressing issue that is creating political turmoil in America right now is the issue of gun control. Uh, some people are for heavy gun regulations, and some are almost for nothing for regulations. Many people do not know the statistics and facts behind the two sides, which is a problem. But gun control should be changed for the betterment of society because criminals can obtain guns, guns save lives, and guns make places safer. Currently, gun regulations are in work to stop a majority of the people from obtaining firearms. Some of these are for the better, and they're reasonable regulations. Some of these are background checks, psychological tests that prevent criminals from getting guns. These have worked before to stop school shooters, so they're reasonable regulations. Um, Such school shooters like John Sowari, I believe he shot up a California college. However, some of these current regulations, uh, are criminals are still able to get guns around them, which is the main purpose of them. But one of the ways that criminals are able to get around gun regulations is by buying things called unfinished receivers. A receiver is the crucial part of a gun. It's the metal part that actually fires the bullet. It can uh, it can differ from the gun being semi-automatic to fully automatic, which are they're illegal. Um, However, unfinished receivers are a danger to a current way for criminals to get around gun regulations. According to a 2014 article by Zari Horowitz in Gun Parts Sold Separately, Let's Get Around Some Laws, converting unfinished receivers into firearms is relatively simple. All you have to do is use a drill press to create holes in the receivers, well out certain areas, and combine the pieces into other parts of the gun to make a fully functional rifle. And because these receivers bear no serial numbers, they can't be traced back to the owners that made the gun. This is one of the ways criminals can obtain firearms by breaking the law. Um, and another way is, as we know, criminals are not above breaking the law. Of course, that's what makes them criminals. They like do it for their own purpose. So why would the majority of them not break laws to obtain guns to break more laws? If they were going to use these firearms to do illegal things, why would they get the guns legally? As stated in a 2016 article, gaps continue in firearms surveillance. Evidence from a large U.S. city bureau of police by Fabio Duell and Crepage, O'Donnell, and Laporte. 80% of people illegally carrying guns had an average of 30% of them being stolen. This shows that criminals do not care about gun regulations and will get around the current system to use guns for their illegal activities. Along with that point, currently in the U.S., large portions of people actually owe their lives and safeties to guns, whether it's soldiers or just common citizens, whether it can be a cop or even just a concealed carry guy. On average, it takes a police officer to arrive on an emergency crime scene about 9 minutes. For an unemergency crime scene, it usually takes 20. This can vary from city to city, but a lot can happen in 5 minutes, or in 9 minutes, especially if it's an emergency situation, which makes a lot of people feel unsafe. And the average time of a concealed carry person it's much faster since they can deal with the situation on there. As it can be seen in a 2014 Vaughan Foods beheading incident, a former employee came back and actually attacked two other employees with a knife at the meat processing plant. The man proceeded to attack these two employees until he was shot and subdued by the manager on the scene, which his name was Mark Vaughan. According to a 2014 article titled "Oklahoma City Beheading," and it's by Patrick Johnson, I believe you pronounce that. Um, Here we go. More Police Sergeant Jeremy Lewis told the press that Vaughan's decision made a big difference in the outcome of the attack. The situation could have been escalated, and it would have been a lot worse if he did not have his gun to de escalate that situation. Also, with that, and a majority of the crimes in the U.S. are actually stopped because of guns. As stated by Dr. Gary Kleck in his book Targeting Guns, he is actually a criminologist. He does crime statistics, and he said that guns prevent an estimated 2.5 million crimes in a year. That's 849 every day. And in most cases of that, a gun was never fired and nobody was ever hurt. This makes guns an excellent deterrent for crime. For some people, however, feeling safe is a matter of their opinion. Some people feel safe in the comforts of their own home. Some in the company of their spouse or their child or their parents. And then many feel only safe with the company of their weapon or a firearm, as they cannot know what will happen and they just want some insurance that they will be safe. In an article from 1986, it was titled Armed and Considered Dangerous, a survey of felons and their firearms by James Wright and Peter Rossi. 60% of convicted felons admitted that they avoided committing crimes when they knew that their intended victim, was armed. 40% of convicted felons admitted that they avoided committing crimes when they thought the victim might be armed. This shows that guns actually make people safer, as criminals don't really want to deal with them, and they're less likely to rob people on the streets. And also, most local stores, such as gas stations and local places of business, are prime targets for criminals. Gas stations get robbed all the time. Some of these businesses rely on guns to protect their assets and their own life, whether it be money or just general safety of their customers also. Most criminals do not rob a business or a house, though, if they suspect them to be armed. As stated by a U.S. survey from the U.S. Small Business Administration, Small Businesses Against Crime, 26% of all retail businesses reported keeping a gun on the premises for crime control just in case. So this shows that guns actually deter violence in these places and actually make them safer, not only for the employees but also for the customers. So many people have biases against guns for either added gun control or lessened gun control. However, this system does not work with the current criminals, as they can just bypass the regulations and still get guns. Gun control should be changed for the betterment of society, because criminals can still obtain guns. Guns save lives, and guns make places better. Thank you.